So we're back here on 970 WFLA talking about the local real estate market. First segment of the show, we spoke with Chuck Bakker and Randy Noon from BPG Home Inspections. Gave some great home inspection tips for you. And want to roll next to the statistics from the Greater Tampa Association of Realtors. The June statistics were released about a week or so ago. And they tell some things that I've kind of talked about for a while, but I'll highlight them really quickly. In June, we had 3,243 sales. And the average sale price in Tampa was $251,562, 2.4 months of inventory, and average home selling in about a couple of months now, or going under contract. So, interestingly enough, though, in June of 15, we had 3,281 sales. Now, I've talked about this before, and we've seen this in prior months this year, where we've seen a drop in the number of home sales year over year. So we did see that again in June. So last year,
Are you surprised by that? Are you surprised by that?
I'm not surprised by it because we have a lack of inventory.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lack of inventory, and I've talked, for a while that I think, it's amazing when the media picks up and starts talking about how amazing the real estate market is. Usually means you're kind of close to the end of a cycle, and it's not as if I think we're going to go into any kind of major recession or price drops. We're not going to go through anything we went through before, but I think we're pretty close to peak now, and I think we're going to start to see some of that slow down within the next year. I think the election's going to
the months
cause
of supply is only 2.5 months. I mean, that's like crazy low.
Correct.
I mean,
That's San Francisco low.
Trend.
No inventory, and I mean we're getting homes. We get homes that we're putting on the market before they're even on the market. We're getting bidding wars, and then I think that's one of the things that a market like this brings out that I think is really, really important. And if you're a home seller out there or a home buyer out there thinking about getting into the market, whether you're going to sell your home, whether you're going to buy your home, I think it's really important that you get super, super focused on picking the right agent. There are a lot of agents out there right now that can sell a home. The difference is that the years of experience, the marketing exposure, all the different things that a top agent like we do to get the most price out of it. So if you know there's going to be a bidding war, then letting that process work itself out. Giving it a week, letting the offers come in, pitting them against each other, not moving too quick on an offer. And if you're a buyer, working with an agent that knows how to navigate and win in a bidding war. I mean, we've talked about some of my tips before. Writing a letter to the seller, getting approved up front. There's so many different things that go into a super competitive market, and that's what we're in. 3,243 sales, a lot of sales, very little inventory. It changes the strategy. You're not going to go out and make a lowball offer and get it accepted. You're not going to be able to go out and put your home on the market and get the best price for it. Unless you're working with an agent that knows how to navigate through that process and not force you to move it too quickly and accept an offer.
Well, I think what's, I see it every day is, if you look from prices of 120 to 500, the sales price to the list price is 98%.
Right.
It's only 2% difference.
Correct.
And people look out there and they go, "Hey, I'm going to get myself a deal. I'm going to really beat this guy up and get me a deal." And
not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and what you were saying about the importance of your agent comes to the flip side is not accepting offers that are too high.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you get into a bidding war, you need an agent who understands that. Okay, you take that number that's way outside the bounds of where the value of the house is. It's not going to price. Yeah. You're going to lose the deal. You're going to be back at the drawing board, and you're going to lose 2 months.
Because some buyers will use that as a negotiating ploy. They'll offer a crazy number, even though there's a financing contingency, knowing that when that appraisal comes back, they're going to renegotiate. So it's the same thing. An experienced negotiating agent that knows you're in a bidding war situation may want to strike that contingency from the deal. Yeah, we'll move forward, but no financing contingency, or appraisal has to be done in 5 days, so we don't lose the other buyers and energy that are out there. There's a lot of strategy that comes into play when you're going to sell 1,000 homes in a year. We've pretty much come across every type of scenario.
But okay, so how do you handle? Well, we don't have much time. I got a great question though. So here's the question: how do you, as a listing agent, when you have an appraisal, okay, and you say, "Well, I'm not going to bite on that appraisal, but that's the value." How do you
Let's cover that in the next segment, because there's no way I can cover that in 52 seconds. But what I will say is, kind of going back to the stats, we saw a drop in the number of condo sales, but still single-family homes still moving good. So homes are selling quickly. We did see a year-over-year drop in the number of home sales, and as you climb the price charts, you see inventory go up. So a couple months of inventory, but when you get up above 700, 800, $1 million, you start to run into a year to 15 months of inventory. So that's something to look at if you're a luxury. If you're a luxury
$1 million home sales sold in June.
Correct. More did sell, but also more people are piling on saying, oh, well, more sold, so now we're going to throw more inventory out there. So we're going to be back continuing this conversation after a quick break here on the Duncan Duo Show.